Good evening. Congratulations to the Friends for honoring Governor Davis for his hard work in saving the Ballona Wetlands. I worked for Governor Davis for 18 years and worked on this project for that entire time. The ultimate conclusion was the acquisition through the Wildlife Conservation Board, of which I was a member. And it was a very momentous day when we purchased the area, and it could not have been done but for the foresight and the dedication of Governor Davis.
Well, you know, I really believe that this governor might go down as one of the best urban governors we ever had. Because people forget, that in 2002, the governor approved and took ownership of the first urban state park in California at the cornfields. That was a very courageous act on his part. The Department of Parks and Recreation actually opposed it, but it was through his political will and foresight that the cornfields was acquired. The Trust for Public Land acquired it, and we dedicated the state of California, and I think only good things have happened because of it. And then that same year, 2002, we have not one multi-billion-dollar bond act, we have two. And then in 2003, the governor goes on record and says, I want Ballona Wetlands, the old Howard Hughes property, protected and restored as an urban wetland.
It was bond money that the voters had voted for, and so at the end of the day, of course, you have to have the people saying, yes, this is how we want the money to be spent.
The Ballona Wetlands was the holy grail of land conservation as far as I was concerned. But we knew we had to build local support, and fortunately there's about 30 groups from left to right of the political spectrum that all had an opinion on it.
Just the magnitude of dealing with all of those parties with many conflicting interests and what was going to happen, the sensitive environmental areas involved, which with the passage of time became ever more in the forefront of the transaction. 40, 50 years ago, a lot of people didn't worry about those kinds of things. And the plans that Summa Corporation originally had for the property virtually ignored the environment.
The Friends of Ballona Wetlands was the group that stuck with this through thick and thin for as long as I can remember. When I got involved, they had been trying to muster community support for protecting the wetlands and restoring it for 20 years, and that was 20 years ago. So, you know, they have the geologic view of change and commitment and passion. And without them, we wouldn't be here.
This whole thing would not have happened but for Ruth Lansford and the Friends of Ballona Wetlands and Ruth Galanter. They were the spark plug that kept firing. They continued to press for acquisition and restoration. Governor Davis used to constantly tell me that California is gaining 1 million people a year, and we have to figure out a way to save the environmentally significant lands and yet at the same time provide for housing for this mass of people who were coming to California.
Everybody knew they had to deal with the environment, and were able to work out constructive, forward-looking solutions to taking care of the environment and allowing the project to go forward, although in a very much reduced manner.
Without the foresight of Ruth Galanter going to Reed Holderman, this would not have occurred. Ruth Galanter and Reed came to me as chairman of the Wildlife Conservation Board. They said, have we got a deal for you today? So I said, you do have, in fact, a super deal. We will somehow make this happen. And through Governor Davis's help, we did.
There was, as always with Playa Vista, a lot of controversy. Gray appointed really good people who are firm in their convictions and good managers to be in charge of settling the thing.
My role was to be the one who would say to the various factions and stakeholders and interest groups when they wanted to go off or walk away if they didn't get the deal done exactly the way they wanted it done, to be able to call everybody together and say, folks, this is the way it's going to be, and this is a really good deal. And to get people nodding their heads around the table saying, yeah, this really is good. It's time. We're ready. Let's get this done.
If we could fulfill the terms, we could exercise and close and protect the largest privately owned wetlands in Southern California from Point Conception to the Mexican border in our lifetime. And we did, because of his foresight and leadership. And one story I heard from Bob Haidt, hope it's not going to get Bob in trouble, but I guess he doesn't work for the governor anymore, so it didn't matter. I said, what's going on? Where's my purchase and sale agreement? I mean, we're done. We're going to do this deal. We're ready to go, man. What's going on? Why is it being delayed? He said, well, the governor's reading your purchase and sale agreement. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, no, he's on his exercise bike reading every word of it. And I said, wow, really? I said, okay, I don't think that's ever happened, but I think that shows that he was not only interested in the big picture and the huge outcome and the beneficial public impact, but the details to make sure this deal was one that he and the state of California could live with. And for that, I extend my appreciation and gratitude as a taxpayer.
On September 30th, 2003, when the Wildlife Conservation Board purchased the land, I felt great relief, happiness, some sorrow, because I wouldn't be there to shepherd the restoration project forward, but I knew that the Friends and Ruth Galander would ensure that it was done appropriately. Governor Davis's greatest achievement in the environmental area was his desire to save environmentally significant lands. And while we're here tonight talking about Ballona, there is a very long list of lands that were saved under his leadership. And it starts with the Burton Mesa Chaparral at Santa Barbara, 10,000 acres of land that is entirely unique. The Headwaters Forest in Eureka, 5,000 acres of old growth redwoods that were saved when he was governor. Bolsa Chica, which is now restored and saved in Orange County. 1,000 acres of salt flats in San Francisco Bay. The Cargill salt flats are now restored. Amundsen Ranch is in public hands. The Dyke Creek Ranch, which is in Northern California, which is environmentally sensitive. And one of the unique things about it is that it was the last home for Ishi, the last American Indian of that particular tribe.
I'm amazed by what we were able to do, actually, when I look at that area, and it looks like it's always been the way it is, and you see people out there enjoying it, and you see the birds, and you see the plant life that's established, that's successful communities. If you give people an opportunity to see and touch and be part of the restoration of those resources, you can build a whole generation of Californians who will know and value what we have.
So we would not have had either of these deals had we had a less supportive person in office. And we all owe Gray Davis for his steadfast support of the preservation effort here at Playa Vista and Ballona.
This will go down as one of the most important nature projects in the history of California because of how many people it will affect, and how many school kids will learn about the basics of ecology and nature, and how many people of all colors, all ethnic groups, will appreciate the importance of conservation and having a little nature in their lives. Thank you for making Ballona Wetlands what it is today, which is a public space that will be protected and restored for all the people of California, especially for the people of Los Angeles.
Now we're into the future, and the future is restoration. That's where we all need to participate so that we have a really successful restoration, the way we have a successful freshwater marsh. And that's the last triumphant step to a new and functioning Ballona Wetlands. The Ballona Wetlands has a lot of wonderful friends these days, but you are a very special friend to the Ballona Wetlands. In fact, you are a BFF, a best friend forever. Thank you, dear Governor Davis, and congratulations.